This state increases its territory every single day, a result of constant volcanic activity that deposits a steady flow of lava on its coastline. Aloha from Hawaii, the nation's 50th and most recent state. It joined the Union on August 21, 1959. With 1.2 million people, it is the 42nd most populous state in the country. Just mention Hawaii, and picture postcard daydreams of a sun-drenched tourist paradise quickly come to mind. But most people in Hawaii are not on vacation. Local residents go about their daily business harvesting crops, hauling in fish, or working in factories, while the state's 7 million annual visitors enjoy the sights. The state even has its own breed of cowboys known as Paniolo, who ride herd on 35,000 head of cattle at the Parker Ranch. But living in paradise does have its drawbacks. In Honolulu, residents must contend with the same everyday hassles the rest of us face.
Many people are shocked to see Honolulu as a very, very densely developed, congested city. It's actually the second densest urbanized area in the entire country. It has the fewest miles of roads per person of any city in the country.
Hawaii is the only state that was once a kingdom, an independent constitutional monarchy. It has America's only royal palace, as well as its second largest telescope. The Big Island of Hawaii is home to the world's most active volcano, Kilauea, and few places can match the state for beautiful orchids. Hawaii is just as notable for the things it doesn't have, like seagulls, rabies, and daylight savings time. The Hawaiian language is also a bit lacking in letters. With only 12, it's the world's second shortest alphabet. Located 2,390 miles from California and 3,850 miles from Japan, Hawaii is the most isolated major population center on Earth. Each of its 8 largest islands is actually the top of a huge volcano that rises from the ocean floor. Agriculture is vital to the state's identity. The rich volcanic soil is perfect for coffee, sugarcane, and pineapple.
When people come to Hawaii and they want to take a gift back to their friends that says Hawaii, they will take back pineapple.
For obvious reasons, tourism is far and away Hawaii's biggest industry. Annual revenues exceed $10 billion, 24% of the state's overall economy. The first visitors to Hawaii arrived between 300 and 500 AD. These ancient trailblazers paddled across open ocean from the Marquesas Islands, some 2,000 miles to the south. Today, paddling remains a revered tradition with strong ties to the first Hawaiians.
As soon as we get in the boat, we start thinking about the ancient Hawaiians, and we try to put our spiritual culture into the paddling. It's like a spiritual thing.
For more than 1,000 years, Hawaii remained isolated from the Western world, unknown, until the arrival of Captain James Cook in 1778. Cook's discovery put the Hawaiian Islands on the map, literally. Cook, however, named them the Sandwich Islands, after one of his sponsors, John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich.
Once Cook mapped us, it was only a matter of time before many others came in. Hawaii found itself really directly in the path of that advancing European culture.
Cook himself was killed by a native in 1779 during a dispute over a stolen boat. Prior to Cook's ill-fated visit, Hawaii was ruled by feudal chieftains. In the decades that followed, the islands were unified into a single kingdom by the great warrior king Kamehameha I.
Hawaii was a separate country, just like any other country. It became a constitutional monarchy during the period of the 1800s as well, in which there were elected representatives, a system which was not unlike that of, say, England and or the United States.
By mid-century, however, Hawaii's sovereignty was threatened by American interests that favored annexation. Missionaries, shipping tycoons, and plantation owners began to exert increasing influence over control of the islands. The reigning queen, Lili'uokalani, was deposed in a bloodless rebellion after just 2 years on the throne.
It was a coup that was executed in 1893 by a small, very small group of foreigners, fewer than 100 of them, really. But what they had on their side was American soldiers who landed from the USS Boston.
Not all Hawaiians embraced this new democracy, and in 1895, an armed revolt to overthrow the new government was subdued.
And after a period of what was called the Provisional Government, followed by the Republic of Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands were annexed by the USA in 1898.
After annexation, Hawaii's strategic position in the South Pacific made it ideal for an American military base. It also made it an ideal target. When Japan attacked the U.S. Pacific Fleet base at Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941, America was catapulted into World War II. The many Japanese Americans living in Hawaii and on the U.S. mainland became subject to arrest and harassment.
We'd go to the movie and we'd be trying to get a seat, walking in between people on the aisle, and here somebody from the back would yell, "Sit down, Jap," you know. That's the kind of comment.
While Japanese Americans were being imprisoned for imagined disloyalties, many of their sons were enlisting in the United States Army. The 100th Infantry Battalion and the 442nd Regimental Combat Team, a combined total of 3,900 men, were composed entirely of Japanese Americans, the majority from Hawaii. The 442nd emerged as the most decorated unit in American history, but it was an honor that came with a price. An unprecedented 31.4% casualty rate earned them the nickname the Purple Heart Brigade. Together, the 442nd and 100th earned over 18,000 medals, citations, and awards. That astonishing war record finally gained them the respect they had long been denied.
We were considered like a bunch of heroes. The word Jap never did appear. Nobody mentioned that word. But it was a fairly good feeling to know that people respected you for what you did.
The post-war years brought an onslaught of decidedly peaceful invaders who wanted to conquer nothing more than the waves. 100 years ago, Western influences on Hawaii's culture led to the abandonment of many native traditions, including surfing. One man is credited with bringing this ancient sport back to life: Duke Kahanamoku. As a teenager, Duke began surfing the beaches of Oahu. Like the kings of ancient Hawaii, he used a towering solid wood board.
This board here is a turn-of-the-century solid koa board. Weighs about 130 pounds, and this is what the Duke would have been riding in Waikiki.
Most people can barely lift these boards. Duke rode them like a magic carpet.
Well, if you've ever tried one of those boards, you really respect what they did in the old days.
Duke was an athlete of stunning strength and agility. An Olympic swimmer, he won a gold medal at the 1912 Games in Stockholm and 2 gold medals in 1920 in Belgium. Duke's success also lifted surfing into the international spotlight.
During his lifetime, and I think this still is going on today, he was seen as kind of an ambassador of Hawaiian culture, of the sport of surfing, as a representative of Hawaiian culture in the Hawaiian Islands, and he fulfilled that role extremely well.
Though Duke died in 1968 at the age of 77, his legend lives on.
He had this aura about him. You know, he always held himself properly, but just to be in his presence was an honor.